what's going on, guys? Welcome back to my lessons, my online lessons. This is more of a lesson concept than it is an actual song, but I was just playing the song Let It Be in kind of an acoustic interpretation. But the concept is this, is when you're playing with a few chords, in this case 4 chords, and they're all in the key of C major. You have a C, a G, an A minor, all open chords, F major 7, is that within these chords there's all sorts of fun little notes, embellishments and things like that you can really spice up your playing and make it, add your own color to it, and it keeps the C from getting old, whereas, I mean, how many times do you want to play this chord forever? It sounds good, but there's so much more you can do with it. So what I'm going to show you is some little tricks that you can do around these chord shapes. So, and I'll just give you a few, and then I'm going to kind of talk a little bit about how you can find some more. So, for the C major, the first thing you can try and do here is lift off your middle finger and take that note that's an E, the D string 2nd fret, and play it open. Strum your chord that way, and then hammer your middle finger into that. So all of a sudden you have suspended the chord and then resolved it after the strum itself. A lot of times I like to intentionally not strum the whole chord with that, just to bring attention to the fact that you're changing that note, because sometimes if you strum all 5 or all 6 strings, a lot of times these upper strings will cover up the note that's changing in the lower register. Actually hear it pretty good here. Some chords it's not the case. Now something else you can do is take your pinky, it's a little bit trickier, but your pinky can actually raise that same string, the D string at the 2nd fret, it's a personal favorite, to the 3rd fret. So now you've suspended that C chord upwards. This could be a riff right here. Now, I'm going to go to the G chord now. I'm just going to give you a couple on each chord, and I'll have a lot more ideas on the PDF. But anyway, so the G chord, I'm taking a G chord this way with my first finger free, because in context of this song, with the change, you have a C. It makes a lot more sense to play a G with these fingers and keep the first finger free than it does to play a C this way and kind of change the whole shape. So when you play your G this way, you actually have the same exact idea as we do with the C chord. On the hammer-on idea, it's the same thing here. Sounds a little country, I guess, but it's all kind of in context. So you have that same fill right there with the G chord. Now something else that I think is very nice is that because we just played a C, well, there's a lot of reasons for this, but you could think of it as just sharing notes between chord shapes. But since we played a C, when we switch to a G, sometimes if you retain a note from that C chord, it'll actually sound really nice in the G chord. So the note that the first finger has at the 1st fret on the 2nd string, this C note right here, sounds really good in the G chord. It's actually suspending the G chords, the G chord adding the 4th. And it likes to kind of come back down into the G chord. So you got, with your C and your G, you have all that stuff, G chord. Now for your A minor, I like the same note. In fact, it's really nice to actually strum this and hammer into it. So same 2nd fret note, that C note, 2nd string 1st fret. Okay, and so for your F major 7, What I like to do is do the same concept, the same trick as the C chord, where you're going to hammer your middle finger. I kind of like it backwards in this case, it's just a preference, but point being is that the middle finger on the 3rd string 2nd fret sounds really good with that string open. And another great note for you to mess around with off this chord is your pinky note, which is 3rd fret 1st string, which is the same note that your G chord would have. So, if I were to play through this now, in the context of Let It Be, it's not necessarily the best thing to practice these fills with, just because it moves kind of quickly through the chords. You don't have a lot of time to explore, but if I just did maybe one fill per chord change, it would really spice up just the overall approach to it, I think. So it might sound like this. So I hope that this helps, and I really encourage you to, take this and mess around with it. I mean, when you deal with 4 chords, any notes within these chord shapes will sound good with other chords. Let me say that better, is that when you're playing a C chord, try to think of a G chord. Try to see the G chord notes on the fretboard as possible variations for your C chord. And the same goes true for any of these chords. Try to see all of the possible shapes that you have when you're playing one shape as just variations of notes that you know will sound good, because sooner or later you're going to play through that chord and you're going to hear those notes anyway, right? So those are all going to sound good. So I hope that this helps you guys, and just have some fun, and let me know if you have any ideas, and I will see you guys next time. So take care.